This is Lupine Fiasco with another FaB Rising Rebellion gameplay video played through Talishar.net. Have a good game today against a Lexi. Historically bad matchup for FaB. I have really been struggling with this, but am thinking that I at least have the strategy down for how to effectively block the Lexi, for how to deal with more of her average gameplay. Lexi with spike turns, something like an Art of War plus Icequake plus 3 of a kind is still going to be very difficult for FaB to beat. Those are the sorts of games. Treat those like your FaB double Art of War, 6 links wide, triggering Mask Momentum. They happen. The Reinhardt, Leviah, double Blood Rush turns. But overall, with this being a bad matchup for FaB, we are just looking to bring our average hands up to the level of a Lexi's average hand. How do we win the games where we're unfavored, but no one is really spiking? We'll take a look at a Lexi game here. Our sideboard does not change equipment at all. We are bringing in Command and Conquers. We are taking out the Flame Call package here. With the current version of my list, I have cut Flame Call entirely. I'm running breaking points in the 60, but this list will look very similar, if not identical, to what I'm doing now. So breaking points are in, Command and Conquers are in, Rise from the Ashes, Flame Call is out, 2 blocks bad, no blocks very bad, and we are looking to nickel and dime Lexi while effectively blocking her bigger on hits, while we wait for her to brick or try to put her under a little pressure. So Flame Call really wants at least a 3-card hand to do anything. And we aren't always going to get that. So cutting it, removing a non-block from our deck entirely, and cutting Rise from the Ashes for Arsenal Hate. Here, our Lexi has won the die roll and has put us first. Pretty unexciting hand on our side of the table. We do start with an Art of War, so there is a potential to turn to Art of War our Lexi here. The problem is with Voltaire being an instant speed activation. Unless we want to use every card in our hand, something like Pitch Spreading Flames, to play Mounting Anger, then play Enlightened Strike, bottoming the Art of War and drawing the card. We aren't just sending 7 damage here, Enlightened Strike, bottoming Mounting Anger. We might get a point of damage on Lexi, as she'll only block the 2 cards, but she'll get to load Voltaire. So we are going to have to deal with a 5-card hand from Lexi on her first turn of the game, but in this case, at least, we have an Art of War in Arsenal, we have a Spreading Flames in hand, there is a potential for us to draw a blue, maybe a Brand with Cinderclaw, and really be able to pop off here. Just eat everything Lexi throws at us and then crack back with our own power turn. But overall, this is not an ideal start to the game. The Art of War in hand is great. The other 3 cards we see with it are kind of stinkers in this situation. We see Lexi give us 2 cards. She will take 1 point of damage, but as soon as we move to the end of our turn, she'll load Voltaire. Pitching an Icequake is good news for us. That is 1 Icequake that we will never see in this game again. Lexi has no ability to shuffle her deck, and we are certainly not going to second cycle. So we see a pretty good turn. For us, we have the blue to pay for Spreading Flames and Art of War. No Brand with Cinderclaw, not even a Draconic Head Jab, so the Spreading Flames effect is going to be a little lessened here. We may even choose to banish it to the Art of War, but we have a breaking point, which is great for us. We really do want to pressure Lexi's arsenal. So here we're really just hoping that she's pushing damage, and so far that looks like what she's doing. This Bolton shot is going to come in for 5. Lexi has a card in her arsenal, so there is no reload effect to worry about. Lexi coming in with Remorseless for 5 is annoying. We could block it. We could do something like Furnace Breaking Point, still play out a 4-card Art of War hand, banishing the Spreading Flames. But this is just damage, and the follow-up, this Searing Shot for 4+1, is just damage. Yes, this puts us to 25 and probably 20 at the start of the game, but we are going to have a very good turn that ends with a breaking point. So presumably threatening Lexi's arsenal, she will be incentivized to block earlier attacks to stop the mask trigger, which could open her up to not having effective blocks on breaking point. So with that all being said, yes, this is a big damage turn. We are going to potentially set ourselves at 20 going into Lexi's second turn of the game, but I am inclined at this point to say no blocks, send a 5-card Art of War that ends with a breaking point. It's the decision we make in this game as well. Definitely on the same page. Lexi just with a Searing Shot. Snap take this damage. So now we can decide how we want to play this Art of War hand. We will be pitching the Soulweed Strike. We will be keeping the breaking point. So the question is, are we banishing Double Strike or are we banishing Spreading Flames? And with this hand being what it is, we have no real way to benefit from Spreading Flames. Our only Draconic attack at this point is Breaking Point, and we would have to get to 5 other Draconic links on the chain to even get a bonus there. I don't like doing it. Breaking Point costs 1, Art of War costs 1, so we really need to find 0-cost ways to put links on the chain. Double Strike does that. I will be opening this turn with an Art of War, just to shake the hand, really see what our turn looks like. Banishing Spreading Flames. There is a potential line here where we could actually first, then Art of War without breaking the chain, to keep our Lexi in the dark about what we're doing. We are opting for, well, I'm curious to see how this plays out, because I believe we are opting for a line where Lexi would have blocked this Double Strike with Hornet Sting. We would have Art of War over the Hornet Sting block, then come in for Double Strike for 3, which forces Lexi to block from hand. The problem with this line, as we're seeing here, is if Lexi blocks this Double Strike with an arrow, Art of War doesn't get us over the top. So I see what I was going for with this line. I think it is, I don't like it in hindsight. It is too dependent on our opponent making a suboptimal play. Because blocking the Double Strike, the first Double Strike with Hornet Sting, I think just isn't correct anyway. Here we're attacking with Kadachi instead of Spreading Flames. I don't like this. I believe what we're looking for here is keeping 2 power cards, keeping our Spreading Flames and our Art of War. The problem with this is we're pushing less damage generally. Only attacking for 6 instead of attacking for 8. We're also keeping a red in our hand, and we really, yeah. So we really want. I mean, this is just a bad play, right? We really want to get this red out of our hand, open the opportunity to draw a blue, which pays for Art of War and 2 Kodachis. But look at, we missed damage, right? I mean, we have 2 floating resources at this point. If we want the Spreading Flames out of our hand, why don't we just attack for 3 and then attack for 5? I didn't catch this when I was playing this game. I thought, well, this is just a smart thing to do. Obviously, Kodachi Breaking Point, and then we'll use her. This is just, I mean, this is just a misplay. There's no strategy to this. There is no, like, we aren't trying to keep Spreading Flames in our deck. We aren't pitch stacking here. This was just a mistake. We just lost 2 points of damage. Plus, imagine a situation where we do attack with Spreading Flames. Depending on what Lexi's hand is, maybe she would just flip Arsenal. Lexi flipped the Arsenal and then Arsenal her second card in hand. Maybe she would block the Spreading Flames and then she gets got by Breaking Point. So this is just bad. This is just me playing poorly. And Lexi does just pass. I'm not sure. There it is. Allow. Yeah, so Lexi is just looking to flip and then Arsenal set up a 6-card hand. So gross. This was hard to watch back. But and flipping an Icequake even. So our line does pay off, regardless of how bad it is, how we just missed damage. Getting a red out of our hand does give us the opportunity to draw a blue. This hand without a blue and with a Spreading Flames looks much worse. As it is, we can Art of War, pay 2, pitching this brand, likely banishing Command and Conquer here. It is unfortunate that we have to banish the Command and Conquer, but we have 2 finishers. They both do the same thing. Breaking Point already costs 1. We're going to want to put Kodachis on the chain. We need a starter for Blaze Headlong. Command and Conquer costs 2. It really is just, it's too clunky for this turn. So we'll open with our Art of War, pitch our brand, banish CNC, and see what we draw into. Really, anything we want a Draconic starter. So we find a Rising Resentment, which is good news for us. And now we have the opportunity to shape our turn. We only have 1 floating resource, so we cannot work Kodachis into this chain and also play our Breaking Point. So what I'm looking to do here is lead with a Snatch. We'll snap it. Snatch gets over card from hand and Hornet Sting. So either Lexi's going to let this hit, we'll deal 5 damage and draw a card, or she would block with 2 cards from hand, which then lets us send 9 damage her way, which she'll likely take. Breaking Point for 6 potentially gets these other 2 cards. Time walks Lexi because she has nothing she can do. We will also have 3 Draconic Links on our chain. No go again, so we can't play our Phoenix Flame, but we can Arsenal it. So, looking to Snatch first, see how Lexi responds to that. If this snatch hits, we get to send Rising Resentment Blaze Headlong, draw a card, or at least threaten to draw a card. Whatever's on top of our deck is likely a better card to Arsenal than Phoenix Flame. And if it's a head jab, a Draconic head jab even, that lets us play it, get the Phoenix Flame, attack with that, and then Breaking Point. So thankfully, despite our screw-up the previous turn, missing 2 points of damage, we were able to successfully prevent Lexi from doing anything important this turn. Here, Lexi giving us what would have been a full Spring Tunic, so she is very interested in keeping this hand, which is pretty interesting. Here, we are taking a line that I am glad I saw in-game, if not in review. Our Blaze Headlong does have go again because of Snatch, so we can send the Blaze Headlong and then attack with Rising Resentment. Lexi has shown that she's very interested in keeping this hand, and because we have 2 Draconic Links on the chain, we can banish Breaking Point. So now we can use our floating resource to pick up our Phoenix Flame, which threatens Mask of Momentum. We're forcing Lexi to choose how she wants to block. If she wants to keep her arsenal, then she needs to block this Phoenix Flame. Or she'll need to block the Breaking Point. So she lets the Phoenix Flame go through. We draw a card, we'll send it into Arsenal, set up a 5-card hand for our next turn. Then we get to send Breaking Point for 6. So Lexi has a few options. She has 3 cards in hand. We don't know what they are. She can likely block with 2, keep her Arsenal and a card in hand. We don't know how good that is for her. She could also take 6, lose the Arsenal, and then play with 3 cards. But in any case, this was a very strong turn from us. Putting enough pressure on Lexi in earlier stages of the game that we got an almost uncontested Art of War turn. Yes, we did have to pay for a Frostbite, but that's fine. Just had a quick pause there to let my cat out of the office. Lexi choosing to give up the Arsenal. We'll see what she can make happen with 3 cards. Endless Arrow for 4 with a card left in hand. And go again on the Endless Arrow. So what are we doing with this hand? We can send 6 links with this hand. Brand, Ravenous Rabble, Blaze Headlong, Phoenix Flame, Lava Burst, which is a potential 3, 5, 9, 13, 15, 20 damage turn. Lexi's only at 19. At this point, yes, we could be seeing a big damage turn from Lexi if this is a Rain Razors in her hand. We are looking at taking 13 damage from the Endless Arrow and letting Lexi set up an Arsenal. But we will happily trade 13 damage for 20 damage with 2 Mask of Momentum triggers. We also have an option to block with Furnace and Shuko. That said, at this stage in my Lexi career, I'm inclined to take this damage. We want to save blocks for on hits. If the follow-up to this Endless Arrow is a hamstring shot, then I want to block the hamstring shot, or if it's remorseless, or if it's something that does more than just damage. So here, Endless Arrow coming for 4 with Go again is interesting. We're choosing to block it, perhaps anticipating Arctic Incarceration, but I still don't like that. I don't like that block. Let's think about what the Lexi would want to follow up with no Voltaire activations left and 1 floating resource. Arctic Incarceration or Codex of Frailty. Codex of Frailty doesn't really affect us. We don't have an arsenal. And the worst thing that Lexi could Codex back with 1 floating resource is Remorseless, which we can 2-card block with Furnace and Lava Burst. Yes, this reduces the damage of our turn by 5. Yes, we only get to send 1 mask trigger instead of 2, but that's still a lot of damage that we get to send at Lexi, with us being at 14. She has 2 cards in Arsenal, so she's set up, certainly. But overall, I think this was a bad block. And if this is Arctic Incarceration, blocking here doesn't... Yes, I suppose if it's Arctic Incarceration, now Lexi has no Arsenal. It's a 4-card hand. We can pay for the Arctic with Lava Burst and Brand, get to send 3, 7, 11, 12 damage with a Phoenix Flame. That's a tough call, and if you caught me on a different day, I wouldn't have made that block. So it depends on what I'm playing around. Perhaps I thought, you know what, if it's Codex Remorseless, we still get to send 6 links, it's still a big turn, but as it is, we'll pay attention to what Lexi arsenaled. I can see the value of this block. I don't necessarily disagree with it, but catch me on a different day and I would do something different. So here, leading with our Ravenous Rabble, just so that we know what's on top, we also want to send a big awkward attack Lexi's way. I don't know if I agree with that. I do think that sending Brand would have been more helpful. A little smarter here, we're sending Red Brand. We want to set up for Blaze Headlong in link 3. Lexi just eating this damage. We all know what's on top of my deck is 3 more damage, which we would likely send, keeping a yellow Brand for the arsenal. Lexi taking the damage. So here we have a maximum of 3, 5, 6, 11 damage to send Lexi's way, which would get 2 cards from her. Right, because she can't take, if she blocks 11 damage with a 3 block, she dies. So she needs to give us 2 3 blocks, or a 3 block and a 2. Either way, we're getting 2 cards from her. So at this point, I am not inclined to hold a Brand with Cinderclaw. I want to just throw as much damage as I can at Lexi. There is no value one way or the other to Kodachis over Phoenix Flame, aside from Kodachis being split damage that make it harder for Lexi to mitigate. I am inclined to send Kodachis over a Brand since we don't have Shuko. They're harder to block effectively. Lexi may be more inclined to take 1-1 rather than block 2. As we can see, it doesn't matter, but we don't want to be results-oriented. Win or lose, we want to play better. We want to improve the quality of our play, and in this instance, I think double Kodachis rather than yellow Brand is a marginal improvement, but an improvement nonetheless. Lava Burst for 5 is going to get 2 cards from Lexi. The ideal situation for us is a 3 block from hand and New Horizon, which effectively gets us 3 cards because Lexi loses the ability to block. But that really depends on what she arsenaled versus what's in her hand. We do get the New Horizon. I believe that so the arsenal was a Rain Razor. So interestingly, I still don't understand why Lexi gave it go again instead of +2 or instead of +1. I suppose to bait a block, just to bluff that the turn was not over yet. If Lexi had sent Rain Razor or Endless Arrow for 5, I would have been much more inclined to take that damage. And if Lexi had Rain Razor, the Endless Arrow, the first Endless Arrow, I would have been more inclined to take the damage. So very heads-up play from our Lexi, bluffing a follow-up to the Endless Arrow to get armor blocks out of us that we otherwise wouldn't have given. Yeah, we'd be at a lower life total, but Lexi would be at 1. The Shuko would have triggered. Just heads-up play from Lexi. We'll see what she can put together with a 3-card hand. Showing us an Endless Arrow, which we are, again, inclined to take. This hand is really good. This hand wins the game, so here I will take raw damage and wait to block whatever the disruptive follow-up is. This arrow would go again. Not looking to make this same play. Instead, we are going to let the 4 go through and see what Lexi can put together. If she has Arctic Incarceration, we can play through that. If she has Codex of Frailty, it's a bit more obnoxious, but we can play through it. Lexi with the Codex. So let's wait for her to decide what she's going to take. Lexi takes Remorseless. We'll see when my graveyard pops up what I have available. But as it is, Lexi's at 2. Mask of Momentum is no longer worth more than 2 points of block value. The on-hit for the 3rd chain link in a row is Death. So we are looking at blocking for 3 no matter what. The question then is, how do we set up the rest of this hand? Our Kodachis are turned off. We do have 2 Mounting Angers and a blue. So we are sending a minimum of 8 damage Lexi's way. Probably discarding it doesn't matter, one of these blues, and then keep the other blue, block 3, take 2, go to 8, and then win. But we'll see what we have available. Keeping in mind that we are frailtied, so whatever we attack with, whatever we pick for our arsenal is going to have -1 power. Our turn looking like 4 go again, 4 go again. So now how do we take advantage of this? We could take a Blaze Headlong. This is 3 damage that works into our turn. We could take Lava Burst that ends our turn. We're going to have 1 floating resource, so we will be able to pick up our Phoenix Flame with our floating resource. 8 go again, 8 go again, 1. What? Lexi will have 4 cards in hand. We can assume a maximum of 12 block. We're assuming that she cannot block from Arsenal, that she is not playing defense reactions or down and dirty. So we need to deal a minimum of 14 damage to win the game. 4 go again, 4 go again is 8 total. This is 9. Lava Burst without Shuko and with Frailty brings us to 13. Blaze Headlong with Frailty brings us to 12. Enlightened Strike with Frailty brings us to 14. 4, 4, pick up our Phoenix Flame, bottom it to E-Strike for 6. So if we are looking purely at what is the most that Lexi can block on her turn, that's 12, we should take Enlightened Strike here. I don't believe that is what I take, because I didn't think it through this much on my turn, but we should absolutely take Enlightened Strike. Without any weirdness from Lexi, they don't usually, we should not put them on a D-React because they don't usually run that. We shouldn't put them on Blizzard because they definitely don't ever run that. We should put them on being able to block 12 at the most. E-Strike, bottoming our Phoenix Flame, is the only card in our graveyard that lets us hit 14 damage on our turn. Another shout out for Snatch, I guess, as a finisher. If we didn't want to just try to win the game for some reason. Lava Burst, if we wanted to potentially put our Lexi to 1 and then keep them Kadachi locked, keeping a Phoenix Flame in hand or in discard just in case, and punishing Lexi for having any 2 block. So effectively the safer play is take Lava Burst. Deal 13 damage. Lexi at best goes to 1. Then we Kadachi lock and kill her. The winning play, barring any sort of weirdness that we cannot put Lexi on, is Enlightened Strike. We choose to take Blaze Headlong, which I think is objectively wrong. Between Brand and Soulbead Strike, I guess I like having Brand in my deck, just in case. A starter is, I think, better than a 3-block, but again, it doesn't matter. We'll be blocking this Remorseless with Mask of Momentum and Furnace. Going to 8. On our turn, we will send 4 actions at Lexi. So we will go to 4. And then, presumably, if not win this turn, win the next turn. Keeping in mind, we could have won this turn if we had taken the Enlightened Strike instead of a Blaze Headlong. But based on our breakpoints, we probably win anyway. Lexi puts an arrow in front of this Blaze, puts 2 cards in front of Mounting Anger, then dies to the Phoenix Flame. But like I said, these sorts of practice, much as it is frustrating to lose and feels good to win, winning and losing isn't the point. The point is to improve play patterns. The best play pattern we could take here is to have the Enlightened Strike so that we definitely win no matter what. But that is the game. So I felt good about that game. We never saw a big Rain Razor's 3-of-a-kind turn from Lexi. We never saw an Ice Quake or a Hamstring Shot. But based on remaining life totals, based on how we were blocking throughout the game, and even based on having just missed 2 points of damage for no reason, I feel comfortable. I feel like that was a good showing from us, that we were able to keep up with the Lexi, we were able to put enough pressure on her, and that had we seen a spike turn from her, we could have at least, if not won, at least played through it and kept the Lexi on her toes. But as far as I'm aware, this is the way to play the matchup, is block the big on hits, don't be afraid to take the damage if it means setting up a good turn on our end. And that's that. So good luck to all of you and all of your games. I will see you again tomorrow. Videos released at 11, Monday through Friday. Like, subscribe, comment, leave a comment below if you saw any misplays that I didn't address, if you want to tell me how bad I am at this game, or if you want to tell me how good I am. If there are any matchups that you're having trouble with on your end, let me know. I'm happy to either give advice in the comments, or I can seek out some of those heroes on Talishar and put some games up for you. But otherwise, I will see you all later. Have a great day.